Hey YouTube, it's MTGrehab here, doing my first deck tech on my mono red aggro deck. So this is sort of a more recent card modern deck. There's a couple cards that have rotated out. Most of the cards are pretty recent. If I wanted to reach back 20 years, I could probably make a much better deck, but this is what I've got right now. So my heavy hitters are, I'm running 2 Rabblемasters. Really like Rabblemaster. Pretty expensive though, both real money wise and mana wise, so I'm only running 2 of them. 3 Dragon Fodders, which is the 2-drop make 2 goblins. I don't have any Convoke in this deck, but I'm running some Dynacharge and some Hall of Triumph, so that's pretty nice. Token generation is always nice to hit your opponent with. There's my Hordeling OUtburst. I've got a couple more of those in the sideboard. My other creatures, one of my personal favorite creatures, Legion Loyalist. He is definitely a 4-of in a deck like this. Such a good card. I really like Legion Loyalist. He's a 1 cost, 1/1 with haste, so if that alone isn't good enough, his battalion, whenever he and 2 other creatures attack, they all get first strike and trample and can't be blocked by tokens. That's just pretty great. Foundry Denizen has some great synergy with tokens, and frankly just an all-around versatile creature. Can hit them hard, trade with a lot of higher creatures. Depends really on how they want to block, if they can. I run 1 Searing Blood because I really like the card, but it's only really good versus specific decks, so I run 2 more in my sideboard in case I face like a mirror deck. But Searing Blood, pretty good card. I like it. Instant speed too. That's kind of nice. It's like a Wild Slash and a Lightning Strike in one. Speaking of Wild Slash, I run 4 Wild Slashes because Wild Slash is just a great card to take out blockers. I use it a lot to do damage to the player, but it is definitely better to take out blockers. And Lightning Strike, the heavy hitter against players. I run 3 of those. I have gotten some Lightning Bolts, I just haven't put them in my deck yet, but Lightning Bolt is definitely a much better option to Lightning Strike. I have 1 Lightning Strike boarded, and I would take that out and put it in if they were all bolts. Lightning Bolts are loads better, so much better. And I've got 2 Akroan Crusaders. I've got a couple more in sideboard, but I don't run too many main deck because I just don't find them fast enough. You've got to draw just the right pump, and then you have to use the pump on the Akroan Crusader. It can just be very limiting, but they can be pretty nice cards. Definitely run 4 Titan Strengths. I was told by a couple people that I needed to run the mind blank. I don't remember what it's called, but it's I believe it's 4 cost 3/3, but the Blood Rush +3/+3 over Titan Strength. I can see how that'd be good, but honestly the Scry 1 can just be so useful in the mid game. But Titan Strength, just love this card. Triggers so many things in my deck, including Monastery Swiftspear, which is probably the best red card that Standard has given us in, well, at least since I've been playing, so a couple of blocks. But love this card. Very useful, and I always seem to get one in my opening hand, so love this card. Hall of Triumph. I have a lot of debate in my head about this card. The legendary part of it makes it kind of annoying. That's why I run 2. I've actually never gotten 2 in a hand, I don't believe. That's nice. I'm really on the fence about it or Obelisk of Erd, but I would need a couple more goblins to make Obelisk worthwhile. This is a pretty solid card. It's usually my go-to card to sideboard, though, against any sort of control deck. It's usually what I've found. Then 3 Dynacharges. The Overload option on Dynacharge is great. This card is just super versatile. with the 1 cost or 3 cost, whichever you need. I find I usually cast it for the 1 cost. It's not that I don't usually have enough creatures, it's that usually I find that I need a 2-drop or 2 1-drops on turn 3, and then this is a trigger more than I need it turn 4. Either way, great card. Triggers a lot of things in my deck. I like running a lot of pump. And Hammerhand, very overlooked, solid enchantment. The +1/+1 alone is pretty nice. The fact that it triggers Swiftspear and Akroan Crusader, that alone is very nice, but the fact that it also gives a creature haste and another one of your opponents can't block, that's really nice because it makes a Crusader from a slow card hitting with 1 on the next turn, 2 hitting for 3 on that turn with the Soldier Generation. Just a great card. And I run 1 Flamewake Phoenix just because, frankly, I really like the card. I don't have any cards that trigger its regenerate, which would make the card seem semi-worthless, but it's really not, because I can pretty much just Titan Strength something, and then I can regenerate it if that's what I want to do. Usually I find the game doesn't last that long, because I've either won or it's come to a point where I know I can't win, but I just really enjoy a 2/2 flyer with haste. I find that to be a very fun card. And now for the sideboard. Sideboard, I run another Flamewake Phoenix, because Flamewake Phoenixes are fun. I run 2 Searing Bloods that I would put in against a mirror matchup, something like that. I run 2 Hammerhands, because sometimes I like to change up my deck. So I would run those 2 Hammerhands and put them in with 2 more Crusaders if I wanted a little more quick attack. It really doesn't change up the function of the deck. It's really something I would do after game 1, so my opponent would have less idea of what my deck would be. I should always like changing a deck a little bit so your opponent's sideboarding is less useful. Another Dynacharge, again for the Crusaders. 1 Dragon Fodder and 1 Hordeling OUtburst, really in there for the Dynacharge, and if I decide not to sideboard out 1 or both of the Hall of Triumphs. 2 Frenzied Goblins for against really Abzan, anything that can get powerful blocking creatures out there. This guy's great for the late game because you just pay 1 and you can get right by him. I guess I'm running 2 Flamewake Phoenixes in the sideboard. Lightning Strike number 4, and Eidolon of the Great Revel versus mirror or mid-range. I don't run it main deck. I only have the 1 because it's a little pricey, but I don't run it main deck because I find it hurts me a lot, and unless I'm playing against a certain card, it doesn't hurt my opponent even close to the amount that it hurts me. But either way, still a very fun card. Just deals so much damage to people for the amount of mana cost. I've gotten it to deal at least 20 damage in a game between me and my opponent. That was pretty crazy. And the thing that makes this deck work, I run 18 mountains because I have Rabblemaster and Dynacharge are really, and Hall of Triumph are my only 3-drops. Hordeling OUtburst and Flamewake Phoenix too. Weird. I just put in Flamewake Phoenix, so a little hard to remember. I've been told by some people I need to run fetches, but, I mean, if you're running mono red, there's a pretty solid chance you're doing it because it's a nice budget deck. You can build this deck for, I would say, this exact deck for about $55, maybe $60. You probably take out the Eidolon because that's 10, but I mean, this deck isn't expensive to build compared to a lot of others. So if you're running mono red, chances are you don't really want fetches in the deck if you're trying to keep it cheap. If you're just trying to make a really functional all-around mono red deck, then absolutely fetches would be a good idea. I'd probably run 16 mountains and 4 fetches or something like that. But right now this is kind of a budget deck, not trying to go too crazy on pricing. But that was my deck tech. Tell me in the comments if you liked it. You can subscribe down below. That would be really nice so I can keep making videos and deck techs and stuff about other stuff. And this has been MTG Rehab. Have a nice day.